Hi Krishna, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mataji.
Okay, I could not. I don't know why my audio, I'm not able to do it from the other computer. All right, so this is a very interesting conversation. Do you remember where we stopped yesterday?
Yesterday I was at the temple, so I couldn't join.
No. Okay, Vishnu. Hmm. Okay, we can do it from here. Vishnu continued to lie as if asleep. Brahma became tense. What if Vishnu had not heard his prayers? Without first receiving the Lord's blessings, could not commence his difficult service. Let's pause there. Sometimes we also feel like that. Like, is Krishna hearing me? Did he hear my prayers? We look for some sign, some confirmation that Krishna wants us to do something. Sometimes I try to do something and then I say, Krishna, please stop me if this is not what you want. My Lord, you're the supreme and oldest person. You're ever increasingly merciful to fallen souls like me. Kindly open your eyes and benedict me with your loving smile. Without your guidance, I feel incapable of creating the cosmos. Vishnu slowly opened his lotus petal eyes and looked at his devotee. Brahma had become silent, seemingly tired from his long penance. Vishnu saw that Brahma was glancing anxiously at the devastating waters perturbed about planning and constructing the planetary systems. Where could he accommodate them so they would not be drowned by violent waves of Garbhodaka ocean? How, too, could he create sufficient varieties of bodies to facilitate the living beings' endless material desires? All this was extremely difficult to accomplish. The Lord spoke in a deep and resounding voice. Brahma, knower of the Vedas, be neither depressed nor anxious about creating. By my grace, your prayers are granted. Perform penance and concentrate your mind on me, chanting Vedic hymns. Then you will see me within your heart and throughout the creation, and I will guide you in your service. You will see that both you and the creation exist within me. You will also witness my pastimes when I incarnate in my original form as Krishna. At that time, I will expand myself into all the calves and cowherd boys of Vrindavan. My mother Yashoda will see all the universes within my mouth, and millions of Brahmas like you will pay me their respects. By seeing me in all beings just as fire is found in wood, you will never fall into illusion. Rather, you will realize your pure spiritual identity as my eternal loving servant. Brahma considered the meaning of Vishnu's metaphor of fire and wood. Wood may be different types, shapes, and sizes, but the fire within it is always the same. Similarly, the material body inhabited by the living beings will be of diverse species, shapes, and sizes, but the spirit souls within them will be the same. All souls are equal parts and parcels of one Supreme Lord. The Lord's energy is thus distributed throughout the creation. By seeing this, one would never be deluded into selfishly exploiting any living being. Let's pause there. That's a that's a very deep thought of meditation to hold in our minds. Everyone is equal parts and parcels of Krishna. And this analogy of the wood, different types and shapes of wood, but there's always fire inside. It's a very practical analogy. So every time we see somebody of different, like different shape of wood, we see somebody with flaws, we see somebody with faults, we see somebody greater than us, we see somebody who's older than us, younger than us. Sometimes they come in the form of kids. Our kids are not our kids, they are souls who are, you know, I'm thinking just maybe 10 years ago, who knows, 10, 12 years ago. How old is Gaura? Who knows who this person was, right?
Four
What,
years.
how old is he?
4 years.
Oh my God. So even 6 years ago, who knows who he was, right? 6 years ago. He must have been, um, if you compare the body he had previously, um, maybe more, more older, more wiser, more qualified, more richer, right? And it was actually somebody else, um, just 6 years ago. So we can't just limit individuals and souls to what they are right now. We don't know who they were and who they are going to be, and what plans Krishna has for them. So sometimes we can't treat people, we cannot belittle or we cannot like underestimate somebody just because they are younger than us or less than us or newer in Krishna consciousness than us. We do not know who they were in their previous life. We do not know we don't know their Shakti, their austerities, whatever they performed. We don't know how dear they are to Krishna. We do not know those things. So that's why we have to be very careful who we kick. Like the Kalayavana story, right? Don't know who you're kicking, what can happen as a result. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I was thinking about this Nidasini Mataji, and she had given class a couple of years back. She's telling, like, when we do austerity, then people will say, she's simply fasting on Ekadashi. And if you don't do fasting, right, then they'll say, no, no. When you fast, they'll say, why are you not chanting? It's all about chanting a moment. Our moment is about chanting, right? Why are you simply fasting like this? And then when somebody's simply sitting quietly and chanting, and then they'll say, you're simply chanting, you're just acting like a Vajrananandi, you should be a Goshtanandi. Please go preach. And when somebody goes out to preach, they'll say, you're preaching, preaching, all right. So many people are coming. Where is the temple? When we build the temple, they'll say, God is there, Krishna is there everywhere. Why are you simply wasting so much of funds just building a temple? And then you're just staying in one place. See, you should go to Vrindavan, you should go to Mayapur, all the holy places. And then few months or like a few weeks, you go to like holy places, they'll say, oh, Krishna is your only, simply will travel. So she was saying so nicely, it's like no matter what we do, and then sometimes like give classes, and then they'll say, oh, you give classes, you're so proud. And then when you don't give classes, like, you should be giving. So it's like this. She was explaining, like, no matter what you do, right, they'll always find another story to it. If you do this, they'll say something. And if you do that, they'll say something. So she's just trying to say, like, we should just follow our psychophysical nature, and then in our mood of what we are doing it for is for Krishna and for Guru. Like that, if you can do that, that's it. So that's how you're saying, like, seeing that spark in everybody's body. Sometimes people are making such comments, but ultimately we can't satisfy everybody. That part she was saying. Apart from seeing them equal, there will be such people who keep saying, you can't satisfy, we just have to do what is the right thing. That just came up to my mind to share.
So true. I mean, different people come from different places, some come from insecurity, some come from sincere, genuine desire to want to help, but they don't know what to say and what not to say.
Yeah, it depends, right? It depends with what intentions they are doing. See, all of the things that was mentioned, right? They're all bona fide only. It's all part of
Yeah.
devotional thing itself, right? And still there'll be like comments, why this, why not that? And do that, why this, why not that? It just goes on and on and on. So she's saying some people are like that and you can't do anything. Just have to keep carrying on.
But it's so important. Whatever you said, I was just thinking how important it is for us to have that kind of self confidence, self esteem, and dignity, and a connection to Krishna, and say, what is that song? There's this other one I quoted last time also. ಆರು ಮುನಿದವರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಪರೋ ಆರು ಒಲಿದವರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಪರೋ ಆರು ನೇಹಿಗರಾರು ದ್ವೇಷಿಗಳಾರು ದಾಸೀನರು. Like, so whoever praises us, what powers do they actually have, right? What powers do they have to empower us or whatever? Whoever criticizes us, what power do they have to take away our service or whatever it is that Krishna wants us to do? But if we give them our power, if I start to get influenced and say, oh, they don't like my giving classes, I should stop doing it. Oh, they said like this, I had to feel a sense of belonging with the South Indian community. So better I also behave in that way that they all give me acceptance. Then, we like a kite, we get here and there, like light, how do you call it? Lose our way and get lost in the um, get lost into this critical world, etc.
Yeah, I think with maturity you realize, and just like this works in sixth canto also. So somebody will be somebody's friend in the mode of goodness, and after some time, they can just turn out to be your enemy. Like that, some people are relatives, and then you never know how they either some of them are friends, some of them are like they are like so envious like that. So it's just time. In time, everything keeps on changing relations. So it's like nothing is permanent in this material world, keeps on changing depending on how the modes of nature are acting in that person. I've said no, so nothing is permanent. Our belonging is only with Krishna, like that. That's the kind of conclusion of that particular verse. So the more you kind of hear from Shastra, our power to like understand, discern, I think it gets enhanced, and then it doesn't matter when somebody's like praising you. It's just a matter of time what they did in the past. It's a matter of time something they'll say in the future. So that's how it is. So that much of you don't give your entire your self image is not dependent on what they're saying, how they're behaving with you, like that. It's solely by observation and understanding from Shastra that kind of thing can develop like that.
So true. Also, I was thinking, mm, one thing is, yes, we need to have that sense of clarity and self esteem, confidence, whatever. But that can only take us so far. It doesn't take us very far. But actually, what really takes us far is not that kind of passion or that kind of passionate self confidence. What actually can take us really far is that faith and that willingness that I want Krishna's will to be done in whatever way possible, in whatever. Because when we think of our own self confidence, we base it on temporary, like you were saying, things are always changing. Mm, we may think, oh, I'm the smartest around here, but then there will always be somebody smarter. If we think, oh, we are the pretty one, there will always be someone prettier, right? There's always going to be that. But if we think, I'm an instrument in Krishna's hands, then that can never become outdated. It's not a truth that becomes outdated. It's
Yeah,
always like
exactly.
updating. It's
And you
always
said a very
update.
intelligent one, right? Just I was hearing this beautiful story.
Yeah.
Kach is the son of Brahaspati, and then
uh,
Brahaspati, he's the leader of all the demigods, right? He doesn't know this Sanjeevani Vidya, and then these demigods will say Brahaspati requests Kach to just become the shishya of the demons, that is what's his name, the Shukracharya. So they'll say, please, Kach, go become the disciple, learn the Sanjeevani Vidya, and then help us. Because whenever we're killing the demons, they're coming back because their Guru Shukracharya is getting them. So he'll actually go and confess that I'm actually this their son. I'm just come to serve you, and I just want to be there with you, and like that. He'll just say that, but he'll not talk with Sanjeevani Vidya as such. Then he'll say, I take a vow, my dear Guru, that one 10,000 years, or 1,000, sorry, 1,000 years I'll serve under you. So 500 years he'll continue serving as a brahmachari under his thing. And then because he's so honest, Shukracharya also, even though he's like he knows everything, he'll just accept because those days they're just accepting based on the sincerity and the honesty of the disciple. They're just accepting. He says he's telling everything, right? So he says, stay in my ashram. If at all the demons get to know, they'll finish you off. And then three times the demons will try to actually kill him. But after 500 years, they'll get to know, my God, somebody staying in our Guru's ashram, and he's come only for Sanjeevani Vidya. They are so smart, they'll figure it out. So when he goes out to get flower one day alone, they'll kill him off, and then they'll feed it to the animals. And then because the daughter will, the daughter of Shukracharya's daughter, he will be assisting her. So she'll say to the father, please bring him back. He's been assisting me for 500 years. I want him back. So because of Sanjeevani Vidya, he'll bring this Kutch back. Second time also same thing will happen. Second time also he will get the this Kutch back. Third time when it happens, these demons will say, "Oh my God, my our Guru, every time we're doing because Sanjeev Vidya, he's getting him back. This time they'll grind his body into powder and then mix it in the juice and give it to Shukracharya to drink. So now it catches inside the tummy of the Shukracharya himself, right? So now she'll say, please, Father, please bring him back. So he'll say, my dear daughter, I'll have to die. Like, if I have to bring him back, as soon as I tell the mantra, from my tummy will burst and he'll come out. And I will say, no, no, you're very intelligent. You must know a way of keeping yourself alive and Kutch also alive. Then he'll realize, and he'll say, okay, fine. I will tell the Sanjeev mantra, hey, Kutch, are you there? And Kutch is from the belly, He'll say, yes, Gurudev. I will tell you the Sanjeevani mantra and, I'll teach you. He'll say, no, no, my Guru, please don't say. I don't want you to die like that. He'll say, but just to bring me alive. Then he said, no, I'll tell you the mantra. You come out and then you bring me back to life. And that's exactly what happened.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And then, right, he'll say, thank you so much. And he'll say, because you never asked me this Vidya, I voluntarily gave it to you. If you'd asked me, perhaps I would not have. So only 500 years is done, right? So the next 500 years, he will again continue to serve the group with so much of thing. And then he'll say, after 500 years also, if you give me permission only, Gurudev, I will go back to the demigods. Otherwise, I'll continue. Then after 500 years, the Shukracharya says, Tathas, you go back, I'm very happy with your Guru Seva. So nicely you did, you go back. And when he goes back, when he's going back, this girl, Divyani, right? She'll say, no, no, you worked under me for like 1,000 years, Gach. Now you have to like marry me like that. And he'll say, no, no, I came out from your own father's stomach, right? So you're like my
mm,
sister. And always
mm.
saw you as a guru because he said, I was assisting you, I was seeing you as a guru. So because of this, I cannot marry. She'll feel so bad and she'll say, what she'll say? She'll say, all this Sanjeevani Vidya that you have learned, Kutch, may you just forget everything because you've denied me like that. Then he'll also counter across and he'll say, hey, Devyani, because you've done like this, right? You will also not get married to a Brahmin in your life. And then, of course, further on the story goes on. But the whole idea of the essence of it was any material knowledge for 1,000 years he worked so hard to get that. Within like a moment, she'll just curse, and then the whole thing just gets gone. Like the whole thing is washed out. She'll say, "You'll forget that entire Sanjeevani Vidya which my father taught you." So anything which is material, you're saying, right? Somebody can
Yeah.
think very good and things like that. It can just go on one accident, one this, one that, something God's gone. Anything
Mhm.
material doesn't stay. That's all. It's like they just got an expiry date.
Wow. It is. I remembered another story of Indra and Prahlad. At one point, Indra comes and asks, I mean, this is, I don't know from which Purana. Basically, Indra comes and asks Prahlad because Indra did some austerity, something, and finally he comes and asks Prahlad to give away all his good qualities to Indra. And Prahlad Maharaj does it. And he says, okay, please take it. Because he had such confidence that by performing devotional service, all those qualities will come back. He didn't fear. So I'm just thinking of, losing everything, and the devotee mentality that no, it's okay. Like, it doesn't matter. I know how to. If I'm a devotee, then I have everything. Whereas when you have everything and you're not a devotee, you have nothing.
Yeah, so true, so true. Next moment, what will happen? Yeah, it's like, they never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we can't depend on our skills and our. We can't depend on, like you said, those temporary things. What like we were speaking other time also. During the time of crisis, where does our mind go? Where do we cling to? That shows it's like during the test. Where does the mind actually go and cling? This morning I was thinking, I wish and I hope that I can cling to the holy name. I was with Mother Rukmini in Govardhan retreat in some few years ago. Rukmini, the proper disciple Rukmini, Anuttama Prabhu's wife. She is amazing. So I was sharing a room with her. What a great fortune! Uh, and then early in the morning, like very early, like 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, I started like hearing like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, like sweet chanting, right? Then I woke up to see that she's still in bed, still at the thing on, like she's chanting, and then and she was trying to do some exercise a little later, and she's still chanting. And I knew that wow, this person, this soul has found the thing that they want to cling to, and it has become theirs. Like the holy name is there for her anytime, and she's got it like with her, because when I'm in anxiety, the holy name is not the first thing that comes to my mind. Not forget about first thing. It's very difficult to put my mind to chant. Instead my mind wants to run all around. Like that genie story, to put there was this genie who came out of the lamp, and then he said, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And then the guy said, do this, do that, and immediately it'll come back and say, did it, finish, tell me what I have to do. If you don't tell me, I'll eat you up. And then finally the guy finds a solution. He finds a pole. He says, go climb that pole. When you reach the top, go to the bottom. When you reach the bottom, go to the top. Do that, keep doing that until I call you back. So he found a way to keep the genie engaged. Meanwhile, he finds tasks to do. Like that, the pole is the japamala, to put the mind to chant, so that like the genie, call him back when you need really for something, not that constantly it is running around crazy. Like that. But that's it. Like Kacha never, he never kind of got rid of that curse. Was it like
No, he'll
Karna's
just lose. No, he'll just lose his Sanjeevani, what do you call the Vidya that he would have come to learn. 1,000 years he'll spend, Sir Shukracharya, and then he'll lose it. But he's such a nice Brahmin, I mean, such a nice soul, my God. He's ready to even sacrifice his life for the demigods. Who will do that, right? He's very nice. He's very special soul, I guess. He'll just go back. He'll just go back to the what do you call the demigods. And Devyani later she gets married to um, Puru, right? No, yeah, not Puru. The father of Puru. Who's the father of Puru?
What's his name?
Sharmishte will be the servant, right?
Yeah. I also forget the name.
We have it in Kannada story.
Let me check. Devayani. Not that one. I'm trying to Google and see Devayani husband's name in some.
Puru's father. Yeah, they're getting submission. What's the husband?
It's kind of what Pratiloma marriage, right? Because she's Brahmana.
That's right. She'll get married to a Kshatriya. It's a Pratiloma marriage.
What is his name?
We're getting everything.
I can't find it. Okay, let me look. I really want to look now. Because once it's stupid, then we will
Puru's
remember.
father, you can say Puru's father also you can get, I think.
Oh, okay. Story, right? Story. Yeah. Yayati, King Yayati.
Yes, yes, yeah, correct.
How long did these people live? She finds Yayati after 1,000 years of. That's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
know. Yeah, she Shukracharya's daughter, right? After that is she's already like 16 years that time when she would have met this person. So 1,000 years would have passed. Then she'll get married to Yayati, and then again they'll live for long time. Then he gets married to that Sharmishte, right? Sharmishte, he'll accept her, and then he'll take the youth from Puru back, and then he'll continue for very long. Then he'll get very fed up with this material enjoyment, and then he'll give the youth back to Puru, and then he'll go to the forest for what do you call renunciation, like that with Sharmishte. Devyani will go back to Shukracharya, the father. Because she'll get very disgusted that Yayati gets married to that maid. I mean, it's actually her friend, Sharmishti. So that's all I remember.
It's very interesting how we can derive lessons from all these stories. Different kinds of lessons. But this Pratiloma marriage thing, it hit me now that usually it's rare, right, to see. Usually Kshatriya marries a Brahmana man, but a Brahmana woman doesn't marry a Kshatriya man.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's continue reading this beautiful section. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Um, where is the pink one? Next page, Eko. Of the five grows, one second, screen. Of the five grows of the three subtle elements, like that of the conditioned soul, the Lord smiled, remembering Brahma's search for
Wait.
him.
I think this is we already studied this. I don't know why this came here. Let's see.
Yeah, we had not seen color thing, right, in the page. The one which we just marked, it was a pink color section that you marked.
How did it come so far? I don't know.
This is the 10th. I think it's the 9th chapter, right? Or did you finish? You finished the 9th?
Maybe it's the previous page. Yeah, here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're here.
From here.
Rama prostrated. Or be assured, my causeless mercy on you will enhance your ability. O original sage, amongst sages, by fixing your mind on me, the malevolent mode of passion will never contaminate you, even though you are engaged in generating progeny. Brahma prostrated himself before the Lord. Weeping profuse tears of gratitude, he rose to his knees. Vishnu glanced affectionately at him. Today you have seen me. Although it is very difficult for embodied living beings to attain such a vision, this is because you never considered my body to be made. Next page. To be made of the five gross or the three subtle elements like that of a conditioned soul. The Lord smiled, remembering Brahma's search for him. Do you remember your perplexity as to the source of the lotus from which you took your birth? At that time you entered its stem, but despite searching extensively, you could not find anything. Then, by my grace, I manifested my form to you both within your heart and even externally. Rama felt a sense of self satisfaction. His extended penance, prayers of glorification, and firm faith had attracted the Lord's grace. Seeing his Lord's pride, seeing his devotees' pride, Vishnu smiled and said, Rama, it was I who made your faith strong and gave you the ability to perform penances and offer me prayers of glorification. I bestowed these abilities to you out of my causeless mercy because you desired to serve me with love. Brahma blushed. How
Mhm.
quickly he thought himself the doer. How quickly he thought himself the doer. How kind the Lord was to remind him of his complete dependence. Vishnu laughed. Materialistic people think my form is mundane. I'm pleased with your descriptions of me as possessing spiritual qualities devoid of material attributes. I know you desire that all living entities know my glories. Therefore, I bless you that your wish be fulfilled. O Brahma, I am quickly pleased with anyone who, desiring to serve me, petitions me with the prayers you have composed. Wow. As the giver of all boons, I satisfy their desires to serve me as they please. Brahma understood Vishnu's inference. He would not answer the prayers of persons desiring sense gratification. His mellifluous voice assuming a confidential tone, the Lord added, there are many pious activities such as altruism, penance, sacrifice, charity, mystic yoga, and meditation. However, in the opinion of expert transcendentalists, these are only beneficial when done with intention of pleasing me. You see, Brahma, I am the supersoul in the heart of all beings. The individual souls are part and parcels. I am, in truth, the dearest person to all. A living being has affection for his body because he, the soul, resides there. The reason he has affection for himself is that he is a part of me. Forgetting me, embodied souls wrongfully feel affection for the gross and subtle body, but all living beings should show affection to me. This
That's
is so
sweet.
explicit, right? So explicitly
Ah,
saying.
yeah, amazing.
Vishnu lifted one of his his hand displaying the mudra of instruction, and commanded Brahma, always follow my directions. Thus you will never forget the Vedic knowledge you have done, as you have done on previous days. Generate progeny who are obedient and devoted to me. You can create them from your own body. Night had descended. The dim light of a crescent moon shimmered on the river. Occasionally fish splashed in and out of the water. The night air was chilly, and Vidura wrapped a shawl tightly around himself. Concerned for him, Maitreya stood up to feed the fire. As he did so, he concluded his narration. After instructing Brahma to expand the creation, the primeval lord, Narayana, disappeared. Vidura leaned back, looking up at the stars in the night sky. He ruminated on Maitreya's teaching. How is it that people audaciously argue that Vishnu's form is material? He existed before Brahma created the universe. Indeed, he is Brahma's source. Since the Lord exists in his personal feature prior to the material creation, he must be spiritual and not a product of matter. Vidura remembered his father Vyasadeva once telling him about another conversation between Brahma and Narayana, which had taken place in the Brahma Kalpa. At that time, the Lord had spoken four key instructions to Brahma. The meeting, which Maitreya had just related, must have occurred during another Kalpa. Tired after his long day, Vidura closed his eyes and drifted asleep. Yeah, so beautiful.
See, now we're starting to see why this is important that we're learning all this.
Mm.
Krishna is such an interesting personality. Tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll continue divisions of creation.
So beautiful. I'm also feeling so happy just to just reading these words was how sweetly he's revealing his mind. Very
Yeah,
nice.
true.
Yeah. It's almost like you want to love somebody and then they're telling you like, yeah, you cook this for me. This is my favorite sabzi. This is my favorite like something etc. And they're like, okay, I'll definitely make it. Like that Krishna is actually, I mean Vishnu Narayana is actually telling me this is what will please me, like that I feel. So this is
Ah,
very nice.
that's true. That's true, actually. I mean, it's not easy to understand the Lord's mind.
Yes, correct.
In one sense, we are thinking, oh, he's saying, please, everybody should be obedient to me. It sounds like a narcissist or something, but actually, he's saying it for our own good. Because look at Kali Yuga, look
Oh
at
my
the
God.
free will
Yeah.
gone, look at the free will gone wrong situation.
Wow. It's really scary the next 2, 3 years, the way things are going to change on this planet. It's unbelievable. I was just saying this artificial intelligence, how it's like the highest thing. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, like how much of changes, my God. The people who are making it, that they themselves are like, they don't know how the effect is going to happen and how many jobs and so many things. It's a scary new world is what the way they project. And I was just thinking this is the start of Kali Yuga, right? It's only 5,500 years we have just gotten to Kali Yuga, and this is how much it's going to happen. Like human interaction itself will become the only thing which will be left, because everything else the machine will. I mean, that's like that the way they project it. It seems like another 100 years or 60 years or 50 years, but they are saying it's not even so far. It's just a matter of couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, like that. That's how they're saying. And these who was creating all this? Man itself. Man himself is creating his own destruction.
True, true.
It's in
So,
such a simplistic life, right? Why? Imagine what man used to do and get some money, the machines will do, and all these people will lose jobs, even from the smallest, every industry. This artificial intelligence is going to infiltrate, I believe. I'm like, wow, really, really, just a crazy thing, right? And just for profit, people who are making the big companies, they're going to make huge profits at the cost of all so many innocent people who don't even know what's happening. That's
yeah,
like even right? Just for a few. It's just like COVID, how it happened, how many people were affected, right? Yeah. You're talking about Kali Yuga, and I was like, yeah, this is how it's getting.